So they're not just a tool to drive up vaccines, they're a tool for confidence. People who have been vaccinated will want to know that they're around other vaccinated people. They want to know that they're in a safe environment. It is a way that we can give confidence to those who are going back into hospitality or events. And so that is something that I think we should offer to people who have been vaccinated, that confidence that we're doing everything we can to keep them safe and that they can come back out and start enjoying those things safely.
So in a comedy club or a mass group hypnosis show where you would demonstrate hypnosis, one of the first things you do is kind of get the crowd riled up. But the second thing you do is demonize the people who are not going to go into trance. Demonize those people. And so there's always one dickhead. There's always one dickhead who won't go along with the crowd. There's always going to be one of those people. You might be that person. If you're looking around the table, you don't see one of them, maybe you're that person. So it's always, you want people to disidentify. So remember, I was talking about identity. Who am I? So there's always going to be one of those people. And so what we're going to be doing is something that's good for you. It's something that's fun. Just automatically addressing all the concerns very covertly, but without anybody asking any questions.
Yeah.
And then some people are worried about this. So here, let me tell you what hypnosis is. It's not a coma. It's not sleep. You're not going to be deaf. You'll hear my voice the entire time. You're going to remain in complete control. You're going to be doing this voluntarily, absolutely voluntarily. And it's going to feel absolutely fantastic. And 15 minutes of hypnosis is like a 3-hour nap. It's equal to a 3-hour nap. I made all those statistics up, but it would sound something like that.
Right.
And this crowd is primed as tribal hypnosis. And you'll see people do this to convince people of facts. Like if you watch the John Oliver show, for example, it'll be a rapid fact that they want you to believe, followed by immediate laughter. So you're not really criticizing it. You're hearing a lot of other people laughing so that your brain focuses on tribe and says, okay, lots of people are laughing. It must be true. Bam. Then they'll throw a joke in there before you can critically analyze any of the information. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's every episode. Many different shows, not just John.
This, I think, will be the case for the whole world where they'll be managing their borders because unless you have herd immunity, which roughly means, John, 95% of your population either having been vaccinated or having had the disease, then that will mean most of us will be working in a situation of having to manage our borders until we have a vaccination.
And we can't do the former because the vaccine doesn't exist. And we daren't even dream of the latter because if 95% of us have had it, then we've lost tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of New Zealand lives.
Tens of thousands. And this is the point, actually. Even those countries who there were some countries who initially talked about herd immunity as a strategy. In New Zealand, we never, ever considered that as a possibility, ever. Herd immunity would have meant tens of thousands of New Zealanders dying, and I simply would not tolerate that, and I don't think any New Zealander would.
So what's happening is, hypnosis is a mixture of suggestibility, focus, and dissociation. Just those three things. So what creates the suggestibility is expectancy. Remember we talked about that. That was one of the things on the 6 things that influence human beings. So expectancy means I know what's going to happen when I walk up on stage. I know what's going to happen when he waves his coat. If you do a blind placebo study where he goes up to a bunch of strangers at a Yankees game and waves his coat, they're all going to be like, what is this guy doing? Because there's no expectancy that happens there. But these people know what's going to happen.
Right.
So if I'm going to, let's say, one thing that people think is really cool that I can do, I can take somebody in the middle of a bar or restaurant and just drop them on the ground like that. And they'll just lay there 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, just like they're unconscious. But one of the ways I do it is building a lot of expectancy and compliance. Expectancy and compliance. So let's say I'm doing that. Let me show you how this works in a bar, and then I want you to make the correlations yourself.
Okay.
So let's say, have you ever been hypnotized before?
No.
Okay. Well, it's actually a fun experience, and there's different ways that some people can go deeply into hypnosis. Some people can't. If you have an IQ below 90, you can't be hypnotized. It's been proven.
That explains why I haven't been hypnotized.
I made that up.
Oh, okay.
But so do you see what I'm starting to do? I'm starting to go down remember I told you one of the needs is intelligence. And so we call the ability to be hypnotized unconscious power. And some people have low power, some people have high power. So now I'm addressing strength and power needs, right? So some people have a better connection with their unconscious mind. You see high-performing athletes, high-performing CEOs, they have that perfect connection with their unconscious mind. They're the easiest people to hypnotize. Now I just hit significance on that needs map. So every way that you could view yourself as needing something from another person, I've just hit them all. So actually, you know what? Stand right here and then so I'll have somebody stand up, stand right here. So I've just given them an order. I didn't ask. And they complied. I'd say, all right, come a little closer to me. Next order, compliance. All right, now spread your feet just a little bit further apart. All right, great. A little bit closer together. Great. Now put your hands out. All right, great. Now look at me. Great. Now close your eyes just really quick. I just want to test one thing. And I'm just going to do like 5 or 6 things. All these things I'm doing are meaningless.
They've given in to you, to your will.
Right. So now we haven't even started the process. I've got you just to comply with orders on command.
Message for New Zealanders today as we head into the next 4 weeks. Stay at home. It will break the chain of transmission and it will save lives. If people do not stay at home, other than to go to the supermarket or the GP or to get some fresh air close to your home, then you risk both spreading the virus to others and you risk getting it yourself. Breaking the rules could kill someone close to you, and that is why it is so important. Self-isolation is our best tool to beat the virus. But if you don't comply with the rules, you run the risk of forcing us to extend the period of lockdown, and worse, you could contribute to the virus defeating us and causing harm to thousands. I cannot repeat this enough. Staying at home will save lives.
So then I'm doing all this stuff and I'm gaining all this compliance. And then I say, all right, remember when you go into hypnosis, you're going to be able to stand and maintain perfect balance. You're going to be able to maintain perfect balance even when you go very, very deep. So what I just set expectancy for what's going to happen. Now I'm saying right when I say sleep, your head's going to droop forward, your body's going to get completely loose, but I don't want that to scare you. So I'm pretending like this is a little safety briefing, but I'm telling you what to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
Questions about what you can or can't do, and you're looking for answers, apply a simple principle. Act like you have COVID-19. Every move you make could be a risk to someone else. That is how we must all collectively think now. So, New Zealand, remember to be calm, be kind, stay at home. We can break the chain. Share with you the most up-to-date information daily. You can trust us as a source of that information. You can also trust the Director General of Health and the Ministry of Health. For that information, do feel free to visit at any time to clarify any rumour you may hear, covid19.govt.nz. Otherwise, dismiss anything else. We will continue to be your single source of truth. We will provide information frequently. We will share everything we can, everything else you see, a grain of salt. And so I really ask people to focus.
So your head might fall down and get really loose, and your eyes might close. You're going to feel a need for those eyes to close, and that's totally normal. You can just let them close because you'll get even more benefit out of this. And now, if you wanted one thing out of hypnosis, I'm one of the top hypnotists in the world. What would you pick? Would you pick more discipline, more confidence, more gratitude? What would you pick?
You're asking me personally?
Yeah.
More discipline.
Okay. So now that you've said, I want more discipline, I'm holding the key to that. Now I've got you excited. Now I'm building your expectancy using your own desires.
Right.
So and I always ask the question, if you could wave a magic wand, what would be the one thing that you could change about yourself or that you would add to your life? So you get people to get excited and kind of get invested in the process. Okay, now remember, as soon as I say the word sleep, everything's going to be fine. You're going to be able to stand and maintain perfect balance, even if your head and the rest of your body just starts to droop and relax. I'm going to be right here with you the entire time. So all I've done is got you to comply a bazillion times, told you exactly what to do, and then told you what's going to happen the moment I say sleep.
It just means that they won't get sick and they won't die. That's what the vaccine is for. Yes, all right everyone, I am now at the Remakery in the Hut. I'm here with MP Ginny Anderson, so please, if you have not been vaccinated yet, if you've not had your first or your waiting for your second, come on down here. Great setup that the team has. We've got the vaccination bus, so nice and easy. Come and register. You can see there's a good crowd here. Come and register onto the bus where they vaccinate you. You get to wait out in the sun. And what's amazing, everyone who's been vaccinated, what did you get when you were vaccinated? You got a tomato plant. This is amazing. I love this. Everywhere in the country they're doing different things. Here, you get a tomato plant.
And I got you a bag.
Oh, look, there's totes as well.
You can have a strawberry or basil.
Strawberry or basil or tomato, and they've got kai here as well. So a bit of everything down here today. So if you're in the hut, you know where the remakery is, come on down, join this amazing team, amazing vibe, and a great community. Take care, everyone.
Just nonstop blather like this.
Right.
So you relax all those muscles, but what you're really doing is getting the body to relax to such a state and getting that person to trust you enough to where their brain goes into theta. That's all it is. Hypnosis is just theta. I'm just getting the brain into a theta wave state. So I'm getting the body to relax. They go into theta. So that's what's happening here. Everybody here has massive compliance. Massive compliance.
Right.
What was your immediate reaction when you heard there were no active cases of COVID-19 remaining in New Zealand?
I did a little dance. Definitely not. I showed Neve. She was caught a little by surprise, but she joined in, having absolutely no idea why I was dancing around the lounge, but enjoying it nonetheless.
Yourself, Dr. Bloomfield?
I'm not quite as good a dancer as the Prime Minister.
You have no evidence to base that on.
Well, my children, I'm sure, would opine on that. But I did, I've been described by one commentator this week as intense, but I did allow myself a broad smile.
So that's what hypnosis really is. So what I just gave to you, literally someone could take what I just did and go hypnotize a stranger. Exactly with what I just did. All you got to do to wake them up is tell them, I'm going to wake you up. The moment I say 5, you'll be awake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wide awake.
So basically whatever you tell them or suggest to them will happen.
Yeah. Because you're compliance. And at the beginning, I'll often say something like, I've been doing this a long time. I can tell you're in the top 5% of hypnotizability, which we call unconscious power or unconscious connection. And I made those words up just to kind of go along with what a person needs to feel. And I'll say, the only thing that you have to do to go into hypnosis is do every single thing that I say. Are you good with that? And they'll be like, yeah. So
they're subconsciously, yeah.
So that does 2 things. Number 1, it gets them to completely agree to let go. When I say let go, they have to let go. Number 2, it gets them to say, yeah, I will do everything you say. So if they say they're not going into hypnosis, then it's their fault because they're just not following instructions.
Right.
Vaccinations are our armour. They help keep us safe. So my message to New Zealanders who have not yet had their first dose, if you want summer, if you want to go to bars and restaurants, get vaccinated. If you want to get a haircut, get vaccinated. If you want to go to a concert or a festival, get vaccinated. If you want to go to a gym or a sports event, get vaccinated. If you are not vaccinated, there will be everyday things you will miss out on. And if you are vaccinated, you can be assured that in the new framework, you will get to enjoy the things you love, secure in the knowledge that the people around you and the environment you are in is as safe as possible in a COVID world. If you've done the right thing to keep yourself and others safe, to look after one another, you should feel safe. You should be protected from those who haven't made that choice.
There's psychological warfare, and it's well known that if you induce a chronic anxiety or fear state, and you isolate someone from the people they love, and you dehumanize them by putting a face taper on, what's going to happen for the majority of people is they're going to psychologically decompensate. And we can call it mass psychosis. When people psychologically decompensate, they get damaged, they get hurt, they become vulnerable, gullible, and very easy to manipulate. And the whole purpose of this artificially made weapon of, really it's a weapon of fear, I would say, was to create global fear. And then to use that global fear to manipulate the behavior of large numbers of human beings. And I'm going to have to start building, everything I'm saying is verifiable, so I'm going to start building the puzzle for you. In 2010, Bill Gates at a TED lecture, anyone could just Google TED Gates 2010 population control. Bill Gates gave a presentation and said the following. Most people know about this. He said that the biggest threat to the planet is global warming. The biggest cause of global warming is carbon emissions. The biggest source of carbon emissions is human beings. And therefore, we need to reduce the world population by 10 to 15%. That's a billion people, more than. And how we're going to do that is through the use of vaccines. Okay. The same Bill Gates in 2020 said 7 billion people must be vaccinated. It's also on video, it's not me saying. So I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. I don't need an answer. Just why would I take a vaccine for my health that is being financed and advocated for by someone who wants to reduce the world population? Okay. In 2016, Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum gave a very bizarre interview on a French media platform. I have the interview. It's with subtitles. And he said, and I quote, that within 10 years, by 2026, every single human being will be tagged with a digital identifier. What does that mean? I forget about the purpose of it, but how do you get 7 billion people to willingly volunteer to get tagged with a digital identifier? I don't know. No one understood it at the time.